what's up? It's your boy Hey Kid 05 with another one of my spoken word entries. Today I want to focus on one I think I've already touched. I'm not really sure, but if I did, then I want to go back and I want to talk about logic. So, logic, when we stop and think about that, it's all about planning. You know, everyone has their own form of logic. You know, something that they think is the better choice for them to make. You know, logic is defined as part of a thinking pattern. You know, Webster's dictionary defines it as the construct part of the brain that deals with critical thinking. Logic is not something that can be defined easily as right or wrong, because no matter what, someone is going to think their logic is right, someone's going to think their logic is wrong. But I'm here to tell you that no matter what, someone is going to define your logic as being wrong. Now, currently I have a plan that I'm using. I'm going to give an example. Let's say you have 2 children in your house. Now this isn't my plan, but it's just one I thought of at the top of my head. Let's say you have 2 children in your house, ages 20, I'm going to roughly think, 20, and the other one about 22, right? And let's say both of them right now are currently going through college. They can't find a job. The only opportunity they have to hold down a job is to go to school. So they're doing that, they're going to school and everything like that. One of them winds up failing where now they have to pay for school. The other, he succeeds and completes his associate's degree. Again, I thought this clearly off the top of my head. And so the 22-year-old is the one who currently is having the problems with school and he has to pay out of his pocket. And the 20-year-old is a girl and she made her way all the way through school, all the way to her associate's degree. So she has the better advantage in life. Logically, she has the better advantage in life because she can have a better opportunity at a successful life than the one who currently has to pay for school. Now, the 22-year-old male who cannot pay for school, logically, by logic, he's not going to do well in life. But see, that's the problem about logic. Logic is not something that can be tested. It is something that is purely based upon one's own belief. Now, we can say logically the person who has to pay for school may do better because they're more resourceful. They would know how to better take care of their life. But that might not be true. That can't be tested. That's the problem about logic. It's all primarily based on one's own belief. I tend to try to use more logic when it comes to certain situations. Now, I only use it on things that actually can be tested. Now, for instance, if you buy a Toyota Subaru, right? And let's say you recently heard facts about Toyota Subaru being terrible on brakes, and then there were like 400 of them recalled and everything. So you hear about that. Now, the logical thing to do is to not buy that Toyota Subaru. The best thing to do is to just not get that truck. Go look for another vehicle. That's the logical thing to do. That can be tested because you can look up on internet websites. You can go look at wherever you want, and you'll find that information that those vehicles were recalled. So some logic can be tested only on things that actually have a statistic. But if it's something about one's own beliefs, about what someone thinks, what someone believes is the right thing to do, then it can't be tested. It just can't be. So back to the situation, the example. So logically, what would someone do if the 22-year-old was living in their house and they currently are trying to find a job but can't land one? Only opportunity they have is to go to school and try to finish school. They're paying out of pocket but don't have any money. What would be the logical thing to do? I'm pretty sure some of you right now probably would be like, go help that person out. They're doing the best that they can do. They're trying. At least they're still continuing to go to school. Give them the best support you could possibly give them. That's what someone would say. Logically, that would be the best thing to do. But someone would tell you, logically, it's not. Because then you're pacifying that person. That person isn't really doing what they need to do in life. But then I ask you, how is that logically correct? Can they test that? No. That's their own opinion. Now see, that's the thing about logic. Sometimes logic can be based on your own opinion. If you say that, oh well, about 75% of African Americans never will finish high school. That can't be logically tested. Why? Because right now, that statistic probably would have went up. When that person says 75% can't pass, they go to test it and like 85% passes. So then they're wrong. So, logic is not something that can easily just be thrown out there and be tested. It has to take a construct person to want to do the research and put in the time to actually figure out whether or not what they're saying or doing or even basing their theories off of is necessarily true. So, back to the situation. So, the 20-year-old is currently having success with school. They finished to get their associate's degree. Now that they have their associate's degree, they're trying to go out and find a job with their associate's degree. They land nothing for a whole year. They land nothing. Now for that same year, the 22-year-old still wasn't able to hold down a job and currently still paying for school. Now, let's take that and let's put in some actual real life statistics. Let's say that there are two African Americans. The African American girl is 20 and the African American boy is 22. You know, he wants to go to school. He's trying to get his degree in early childhood education. Okay, so now you have the 20-year-old female and the 22-year-old male. So let's throw some real life situations in their life. Let's say that they're living in a home with two parents currently right now. They're on the brink of divorce. And let's say that, you know, right now they're living in, you know, a part of the community that isn't necessarily good. So now with that situation going on, how does that change the logical thinking of the situation? It completely changes it. Because now you're like, okay, well, then they might be trying to do what they got to do to try to get out of there. Okay? So let's say right now the family moves to a nice little suburban neighborhood, you know, where it's all quiet and everything in the county. So they get bills. The parents get bills. Now, mind you, the 20-year-old can't help. And the 23-year-old can't help. Well, the 22-year-old can't help. Because they both don't have jobs. They're just going to school. You know? So, now the 20-year-old gets an associate's degree, gets a job. Right? Not a job under the associate's degree, but a job, like basically a part-time job. So, now the parents believe that with the way the bills are, what do you think most parents will logically do when their children get a job? They take that same bill that's in their name and they would get their children to pay for it. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of other people out there who are suffering with the same situation. Now mind you, it is a failed logic in my opinion for a parent to take their expensive bill and place it on their child to pay. And the reason I say that's a failed logic is because no matter what, it makes no sense. You can say, okay, I'm going to get them to pay off the bill. But then in that same sentence, you say that you want them to move. Now, how, mind you, off a minimum wage, $8 an hour, can you make enough working a job where you get paid every other week or maybe even bi-weekly, how can you save up enough to sit there and get your own? You can't. A lot of parents say, well, you should set some money aside. And that money that you're setting aside, you're going to wind up asking from them for a bill. Why? Because we are a type of selfish people or selfish human beings in today's society where we want to have it more put on the backs of our children than we do want to take care of it ourselves. And I feel like that's not the adult thing to do. The adult thing to do is to take care of the things you are meant to take care of on this planet. It's going to be hard. Nobody ever said that living in a house was going to be easy. So in that situation, the 22-year-old, they're still going to school. They managed to make headway with school, and now they're back in there, and they don't have to pay for school no more. Now let's push it forward a little bit. Let's say the 20-year-old gets a job with their associate's degree. If the parents don't put their bills on the kids and pay the bills off like they're supposed to, and stay on the bills like they're supposed to, then the child that is 20 years old, the associate's degree, they can go right ahead, take that associate's degree money that they make, set it aside, and move out. Then that would lessen the amount of electricity being used, food that has to be bought. That will lessen a lot of stuff. So, let's say for the 22-year-old. Let's say the 22-year-old makes headway, gets a degree, winds up working in a daycare center as a teacher. They get that certification. Wind up working in a daycare center as a teacher. And now they're making maybe and I'm going to roughly say $11 an hour because they had their full certification, 90 hours. Let's say they're making $11 an hour. They're complete the infants and toddlers one as well. So then that means that now they're making $11 an hour and the other one is making a salary and bringing in money. They both can set money to the side. Now if they both want to move in with each other, they could move out. But this can only be done if the parents decide to make the conscious decision that their kids moving out of their house is more important than currently right now trying to nickel and dime their kids. Now I'm going to change the situation up a little bit. Now let's say the two actually had jobs, and now the parents were putting their bills on the kids for them to make money, and they were making minimum wage. Now, depending on how expensive the bills were, those kids wouldn't be able to move out at that time. They still wouldn't. Because with the amount of, and as expensive as bills are today, your kids never be able to make it. I'm challenging today's parents. Ask yourself, which is more important right now? You taking care of you, or your kids being able to have a future for themselves to take care of themselves? In my opinion, our future is more important. Because we can worry about today all we want, but today will always be here because today is today. We live it, period, no matter what. Even if we were to die in our sleep, that same day, but then that day of today, we died. And we're still living our life. So I'm asking you, what is more important, your future or your current circumstance? In my opinion, I'd rather worry about my future. Logically, your future is more important. My whole thing that I say is this: you can always take care of today eventually, but your future is not always sketched in stone. It can't be until you decide to make the conscious decision. Thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your schedule to listen to my spoken word intro. Thank you.